Yes.
You have to go that slow.
And back.
And then walk around behind and face Lana from the back.
You
On
want
the
to turn on
side.
the light?
You can't. We tried.
Okay.
Ready? Brandon Bittner was a straight-A student with a core group of friends, a passionate violinist who brought down the house at his middle school talent show. His audacity had him wearing the black clothing and the eyeliner for the emo look, or someone who readily shows their emotions. But for the better part of 3 years, Brandon struggled with the fact that school, which allowed him to find friends and find an outlet for his intellect and his creativity, was also his greatest torment. It was the torment the 14-year-old wrote in his suicide note that he felt powerless to prevent. Rather than endure another 4 years of being called faggot or sissy, on November 5, 2010, he stepped in front of a tractor-trailer rig on a highway in Perry County. Teen suicide is a serious matter, and today I'm going to explain to you some of the causes for it, a way to help prevent it, and the impact it can have on society. I haven't had any really personal experience with the matter, but I have done research and gathered information from the following sources: PennLive.com, the American Academy for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, and Teens Health. First off, teens normally don't just commit suicide out of the blue. There's normally a story behind it, and there's a number of causes that could probably be, something that could set off suicidal thoughts. First one being the pressure to succeed, whether it's in school or in life, period. There's a lot of pressure put on young kids to do well in school, not only by their parents, but by their teachers. And sometimes it's just too much, which I'm going to demonstrate with this pencil. It's an inanimate object, but for now let's just pretend that it's a young person. The more pressure you put on that young person, the weaker they get, and eventually they just snap. So that can be a big part in suicidal thoughts for a young person whose grades don't always come easy for a lot of people, and sometimes they may feel like the only way out is to not be there anymore. Self-doubt is another cause for suicidal thoughts. Self-doubt can come from a number of things, like divorces. Sometimes when parents get divorced, the child will blame themselves and feel like it's their own fault, and moving can sometimes even create self-doubt. They have to leave old friends that they've made and make new ones, and sometimes they have a tough time with that. And financial uncertainty can also be a cause. Even if they're not worrying about rent or paying bills, if they can see that their parents are struggling with these types of things, and they might feel like, again, that they're to blame, and sometimes they feel like it'd be a lot easier for other people around them if they weren't there anymore, unfortunately. Now that those are just some of the causes, but there is a certain way that could help prevent maybe a suicidal action. And the first thing that a parent should do is recognize certain symptoms, such as changes in eating and sleeping habits, withdrawal from friends and certain activities that's unusual, violent actions, or running away. Like if your child normally isn't rebellious and they have sudden episodes, and that's probably something to look out for. Neglect of personal appearance all of a sudden, like if all of a sudden they start not caring what they look like, or it's not normal for them, then it's something to look out for. And a loss of interest. Sometimes they may just want to sit around all day and not want to do anything. And it's also, another symptom would be a period of a depression, and then all of a sudden they're all better, which means that they're probably already planning the suicide, and they feel like everyone around them would just be better off without them. Once the parents have recognized these symptoms, the next step would be to get a professional diagnosis, take them to a psychiatrist, make sure that they are depressed, maybe come up with a plan. And once you get that professional diagnosis, the next step would be to find ways to help the teen realize that there's more to it than just taking your own life, maybe changing things at home, or putting them in a different school, or maybe even therapy every once in a while. So it's important that the teen know that they have other ways out. And even though teen suicides aren't on the news all the time. They're not that big of a deal to some people. They do have a major impact on not only the people that are involved, but also on society as a whole. For example, Brandon from the introduction, his family reaches out in hopes that no other child feels that death is more preferable than life. And his cousin Katie says people have to know that this can happen to anyone, even those that you don't suspect. Certain projects have been made, that help kids who are having these issues. For example, the It Gets Better project. I don't know if anyone knows, but they'll have celebrities will videotape them, sending out motivational, speeches on YouTube and stuff like that. And it helps because young people they look up to their celebrities and the people that inspire them. So hearing them say, telling them to have confidence can really help with that matter. A college student, Alexis Kylan, started the PleaseLive.org. It's a resource for anyone who's dealt with a suicide or is having suicidal thoughts. It brings people together and has something in common. And a county judge, John B. Leach, brought the Yellow Ribbon campaign to his hometown after a series of 3 youth suicides in only a 4-month period in his hometown. And they used seminars and activities and self-esteem boosting workshops to help kids feel better about problems that they have and things, and helping them find ways to cope with their problems rather than just taking the easy way out and ending it all. Now, I've only named some causes, but there's ways to prevent it and the impact on society now. I hope that this speech has opened your eyes to the seriousness of the matter, because suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death for people ages 15 to 24, so it is indeed a serious matter. And I know some of you do have kids, and could you really imagine if you didn't have them all of a sudden? Okay.